News Corp shares have been on a rollercoaster ride as the hacking scandal and B-Sky B dramas have unfolded. Here's Chris Weston from IG Markets with the latest.
Yeah, good afternoon. Certainly it's been a pretty wild week this week. I mean, all eyes generally have been on News Corp in the space, and we saw the stock tick down to $14.71, the lowest level it's been in for quite some time. We've had about 2.5% bounce today as people look at the buyback, and generally looking at the week, it's down about 10%. So it's had an absolute shocker, as has the rest of the sector, to be fair. I mean, if you look at consolidated media, it's down nearly 4%. Ten's down 5%. We're seeing weakness in Seven Media. Fairfax down 5.5%, and APM down about 4% as well. So no stock has really been spared, with the exception of Austar. Now, Austar's had a very good week, but it's obviously under corporate issue at the moment. The stock's trading at 133.5, up about 1.5% on the week. Now, obviously, since Monday, when we heard that they'd agreed, or Foxtel had agreed with Austar, a definitive agreement for $1.52, which is about a 54% premium to the price that it was trading at pre-bid on the 17th of February. The company itself, if combined and does go through, will have about 2,500 employees. It's going to be one of Australia's biggest media companies, revenue about $2.8 billion, and there's going to be investment into Australian content of nearly $500 million US every year. Now, if you look at the share price, 133.5, it does suggest there's about an 80% probability that the market's giving it as the deal's going to go through. Now, the next steps in terms of the deal actually going through, the ACCC will need to give a schedule for the 21st of July. It's testament to Liberty Global, who are the biggest shareholder at the moment, receiving a satisfactory US tax ruling further down the line. Then there's going to be a scheme of approval by the minority shareholders. Then we're going to see an independent expert coming and giving their stamp of approval and suggesting to shareholders that it's a fair price. And the deal completed, or should be completed, around December, if not the early parts of this year. Now, caution is warranted. It's a binary outcome. We're either going to see the stock trade up to 152, or it's going to collapse with the deal not going through. Now, if you look at the share prices, Macquarie have got a $1.38 price target, suggesting they see about an 85% probability of the deal going through. JP Morgan, on the other hand, what a price target of 124, suggesting they see a 50-50 outcome. So if you are trading the stock, certainly caution is warranted, as it's going to really be a one way or the other bet.
Chris Weston there, with a wrap of other stories making news in the media sector this week. It's back to James Manning. James, let's kick off. There was some newspaper articles, some rumours around Thursday morning about Seven looking to extend its reach into the radio field.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that story first started, but yeah, we checked with Seven today, and they said, yeah, look, there's nothing doing. We've got a nice little radio investment, a bunch of stations in West Australia, and it's going to stay at that. So maybe it was because Alan Jones was broadcasting from the West recently, and he syndicated his show to some other stations. Yeah. In the West, but not owned by Seven. So
okay, that might have
it doesn't look like
off.
Yeah.
DMG Radio still in the area?
Yeah, still. They shed. Sam Thompson sort of left rather hurriedly as general manager in Melbourne not long ago, and just this week David Borrian's gone. He was the Sydney general manager, so still some significant management upheavals there, and we're expecting some change in programming there too as they try and settle and look for a way through to better ratings, I guess. Okay.
Now, BBC, if we move to TV and international television, BBC Worldwide, its best ever profit result. What was behind that?
Yeah, $160 million, just internationalising their brand. You know, the BBC has the BBC Worldwide is the division that sort of monetises, and some of those core, you know, things like Top Gear, Dancing with the Stars, the international channels. There's about 30 sort of different BBC channels around the world. Of course, their critics in the UK say, look, it's a joke talking about profits. They monetise things that are government funded, you know. So
yeah. Now, the amount of time that Sky News has been confused with Sky Racing, too many to count, but this is a story about Sky Racing. Sky Racing World, which is owned by Tabcorp.
Yes.
Now in what, 14 million homes?
Yeah, 14 million new homes in the UK and Ireland. It already broadcasts a lot internationally, and it's just sort of expanded its footprint. They run 3 racing channels in Australia, Sky Racing 1, 2 and 3. Yeah, and they sort of encourage, it helps build their wagering business, of course. The more places that show the racing, the more people place bets.
Yeah, look, it's a big business. Harry Potter. Now, we've finally come to the end of the, I don't know what the word is for however many movies there've been, but the final one is in cinemas at the moment, and we're looking to have a very big weekend.
Sure. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, I think is the correct title. Yeah, opened on 700 screens. It's the biggest opening ever in Australia, so we're expecting it to set box office records straight away. I was hoping we might have had something already this week, so it sort of went into cinemas at midnight Wednesday. So it would have done a huge business on its first day, which was Thursday, and then by the time the weekend's finished, there'll be some amazing records, and we'll have all the detail of that next week.
What's the most important when they look at cinema revenues like that? Because there seem to be all the different, it's the highest grossing weekend, it's the highest grossing first day, and then the whole time it's out. Which is the one that everyone sort of looks to as a benchmark?
Just the highest grossing, I guess, and because everybody goes on the weekends, they use that, they have that figure first, so it's that opening weekend is the real benchmark, and then when the film finally finishes, what did it gross totally? But it's a bit like TV ratings, you can put a spin on it, you know, and this one will have the asterisk. Well, it was a, you know, was it a 4-day weekend? Was it a 5-day weekend? You know.
And I suppose the interesting thing with Harry Potter, as opposed to, you know, you might get a lot of films come out that actually gain momentum as they go on, as people find out what they're about. Whereas with Harry Potter, obviously, everyone knows. So all the die-hard fans are going to be trying to see it as early as possible.
Yeah, and it's had some brilliant reviews as well. Not that it needed that, but that's just going to help push that momentum along.
Okay. Peter Meakin re-signing on to his gig at 7?
Yep, he's going to be staying as head of news and current affairs at 7 through till the end of 2013 at least. And why not? You know, they're doing no wrong there. 7 News and Today Tonight win every night of the week nationally across Australia. They get a bit of competition from 9 along the east coast, but fall down badly. 9 does in the Adelaide and Perth markets.
Yeah, and we'll be talking in just a minute about, I guess, how the news side of things has helped 7 to some pretty good ratings this year. Just before we move on to the ratings, though, I just want to have a look at the Renovators, because we're gearing up to see the start of that.
Yeah, 10 had a bit of a launch last week. Review copies of the first episode went out this week. Haven't had a chance to have a look at it yet. But Jamie Jury's new show started this week. Initial figures were good. Better Homes and Gardens are starting up a new renovating segment this week. So it's really everywhere. When networks get on what they think is a winning formula, they really start to milk it.
They all go together, don't they? We're cooking and then now we're renovating. Gives everyone something to do every night of the week, I suppose. Let's do that. Let's have a look at the ratings. Week 28 for free-to-air. The third and final State of Origin match took out the #1 spot this week. MasterChef Wednesday and Thursday in at 2nd and 3rd. Downton Abbey in at 4th this week, and MasterChef Monday came 5th. State of Origin, the post-match program, that came in 6th position. 9 News Sunday came in 7th, followed by MasterChef Sunday in 8th. Australia's Got Talent, I should say, in 9th, and 7 News Sunday rounding out the top 10 this week. So, James, we're halfway through the rating season at the moment. Channel 7's just blitzing it.
Yeah, they've won all 20 weeks. It was a bit touch and go there in week 20. It looks like 9 might have got up with that State of Origin figures, but even the biggest State of Origin ever couldn't get 9 across the line in that final week, so 7 made a clean sweep of it. They had most of the shows in the top 20, the top 40 programs. The one who was absent, of course, was 9. Had a really poor start to the year, even by their own admission. 10 did moderately well, but it was pretty much off the back of MasterChef, which was sort of getting them some big momentum.
Okay. Let's go to the subscription television ratings for week 28. So I lost myself there for a moment. The top 5 sport programs first. The Super Rugby final between the Reds and the Crusaders, #1. NRL, we had the Sharks v the Raiders in 2nd, and the Super Rugby post-game program in 3rd. 4th position was NRL, the Roosters versus the Raiders game, and then in the AFL, North Melbourne v St Kilda in 5th position. In the non-sport programs, Falling Skies came in 1st, followed by the Expendables. Project Runway was 3rd, the Karate Kid in 4th, and EastEnders rounding out the top 5 for this week. James, that Super Rugby final, big numbers for subscription TV.
Yeah, 526,000 watched on the Saturday night, which set a new benchmark for the most watched program ever on subscription television in Australia.
And we just noticed there, Falling Skies. So there's some new programs starting to come out on the platform that are doing
it's from,
particularly well.
I think it's a Steven Spielberg production. It's just been, they've ordered a 2nd season of it. About 200,000 people watched that on Fox 8. It was their most watched show this year. And then we had some figures in. I think Project Runway 2 was on our list. About 138,000 people watched that. Again, I think that was the highest rating program on the Arena channel this year. So some pretty good figures there for subscription TV.
All right. Anything else to be looking out for this week? next week?
Yeah, it was just interesting. There's a sort of changing in with the guard, if you like, of television. That first half of the year, Downton Abbey runs out this weekend, so Seven has sort of got to introduce a new batch of shows and try and keep up some of that momentum that they had earlier in the year. We've talked about it before, how My Kitchen Rules did fantastically well for them 3 nights a week. We think they're going to push that out to at least 4 nights a week next year to try and really get that momentum.
All right, and the last 20 weeks are going to be all about renovation. James, thank you.
Thanks, Kylie.
The last word for this week goes to our Prime Minister with some advice for everyone working in the news media. During her address to the National Press Club on Thursday, Julia Gillard was asked by Seven's Mark Riley about the responsibilities of journalists in reporting the carbon tax. Here's what she said.
I think we will have a long debate about media ethics in this country, but if I could put it as clearly as I can, I'd say to you, don't write crap. Can't be that hard. When you have written complete crap, then I think you should correct it.
Prime Minister Julia Gillard there showing she has a sense of humour. That is all we have time for in this edition of Media Week. From the team here, thanks for your company.